Welcome to the Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by Thrive Fantasy. Here's your host, Casey Bubba and Scott Bogman.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Pre-Snap Podcast, brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at LineStar App and at LineStar NFL. And if you're wondering why my co-host, Mr. Bogman, was laughing, you can check him out on Twitter at Bogman Sports. You need to watch the LineStar YouTube channel because I don't know about you, but I love podcasting to begin with. But when you put some jams on there beforehand, it gets me flowing. Like if you listen to my other podcasts, I got some Metallica going. You listen to the On Deck podcast, we got some get you going, and then this one pre-snap, they're bringing like I feel like it's ready like crescendo somewhere, and I'm about to just like throw some glow sticks in the air. It's about to get wild on the pre-snap show. So Boggs,
chuck it.
How you doing?
Football all night. I'm ready. I'm ready for football to start. We got a nice taste with college football happening this weekend. Very happy my Longhorns got a win. Very happy Oklahoma looked terrible. That was a lot of fun. So, but now we get into the big boys. The NFL is about ready to start. My Steelers have a really tough one to start with Buffalo, who we will mention on this show a lot today because they are a good squad. But we got some preseason picks for you guys. We're going to do some Super Bowl champs. We're going to do some win totals, some conference winners, division, all that good stuff, and maybe some awards too. So get ready, place your bets, and let's step up to the plate and let's go.
Yes, let's do it. I'm all aboard this with Bogman. So yeah, this is our last quote-unquote preseason show for you. Win totals, like Bog said, awards, all kinds of other stuff to get you ready as the season kicks off on Thursday with the Cowboys. Bucks should be bonkers. So make sure you check that out. But we will have, like Bog said, the weekly shows, betting shows, recap shows, DFS shows. So make sure you check it all out. Follow LineStar on Twitter at LineStar App and at LineStar NFL. And most importantly, download the app in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. But special this season on the Pre-Snap Podcast, we're sponsored. We have a sponsor. Like when people go big time, you get a sponsor. I'm not saying I went big time, but LineStar went big time. Mm-hmm. We'll go with that. And we got Thrive Fantasy, everybody. Thrive Fantasy. Like if you like betting, which you obviously do if you're listening right now, you're going to like Thrive Fantasy because it is a prop betting situation. It is really, really awesome. They pick 20 different props, some passing props, touchdown props, rushing props, you name it. Each week's different slate. When we do our preview betting show, we'll go over a couple of the picks we like for the week, and we'll help you out there. But you have to pick 10 of the 20. You pick the over and the under. Their point system. So if it's like a popular play, it might be only worth 80 points. If you're taking kind of the dog play, the plus 120 or so, maybe it's worth 120 points. Who knows? But the more you get right, the more points you get, you have a chance to win. And the week one this season, they have a $140,000 guaranteed prize pool, over $4 million total in all the events. But it's just amazing. You have to go check it out at Thrive Fantasy. When you use promo code LineStar, LINESTAR, you get a free first-time deposit bonus up to $100 matched. So you put $100 in, you get $100 matched, up to $100. Also, if you use this code LineStar, you get a free 2 months of LineStar Premium. So I recommend you check it out. You got to create an account, make that deposit, have a lot of fun with Thrive Fantasy. We'll be covering them all season long to get you going to win some money there, win some money in your DFS world, win some money all over the place. Enough of me, Bogman. Enough of me. Let's get into our fun stuff and things on this slate of action, aka our gambling picks. And let's start with some futures here. Let's do regular season win totals. We'll work backwards to the crown.
Right.
We'll work backwards to the crown here. And let's start off with, we'll go back and forth. We each have 5 win totals that we really like. Bogman, who is your first win total and why?
Well, look, everyone knows I'm a Steelers fan. So if I talk about the Steelers or if I talk about the Steelers rivals, you might want to take it with a grain of salt. But my first one is Baltimore under 11. And it's not that I don't think Baltimore is a good team. I do think they're a very good team. But this line has already slid a half game since J.K. Dobbins got hurt. L.J. Fort, who wasn't the biggest part of their defense, but he was definitely a big part of their depth, blew out his knee. He is gone for the year on defense. So they have Patrick Queen, who's a second-year man, and Malik Harrison, who's also a second-year man, as their starting middle linebackers. Not saying it can't work, but I think this 11 total, playing the Steelers twice, playing Cleveland, who I think is the best team in this division, twice also, plus having a tougher schedule, I don't know that they get to 11. So I'm going to take Baltimore under 11 as my first bet on these win totals.
Yeah, don't mind at all. If anybody knows the AFC North, it's going to be Scott Bogman. So I listen to that one in a big, big way. My first one is one I'm pretty sure Bogman will agree on as well, because when you see our picks for divisions and playoffs and whatnot, we both share this thought. And it's Los Angeles Rams being very, very good this year. The addition of Matt Stafford, nothing against Jared Goff, but let's face it, Matt Stafford's a better quarterback than Jared Goff. You still have a lot of great weapons there with Woods and Kupp and company. The running back situation does not bother me. McVay's system, Henderson can do enough. They got other options there. The rookie Funk, who Bogman likes quite a bit, it can be productive. You never know. We'll see what happens. Maybe you get a Sony Michel random 100-yard game. Most importantly, they're going to throw it a lot. Higbee is going to have a big year. But most importantly, Stafford's going to have a big year. Again, 17 wins. Rams over 10 is plus 110. Like, I tried to do as many plus ones as I could. I only got 3, though, and I had to take a couple of simple ones. But the Rams over 10 at plus 110, I'm a big, big fan of. We'll tell you more in a future segment here of division winners. But give me the Rams over 10. At worst, they're 11-6 this year. Let's put it that way.
My next one, I'm going to go with another under. And I know life's too short to bet the under, but when you're betting in the preseason, the under is definitely safer every single time, because you can bet a team to go, it looks like the Chiefs are definitely going to go over their win total. It looks like the Bills are definitely going to go over their win total. Josh Allen gets hurt. It's a different story. So look, I don't like betting unders because it makes me feel negative, but the Giants are not a very stacked team. They do have some good players. Everybody knows I love Saquon. I like the wide receivers that they've got there in Kenny Golladay. When Evan Ingram gets back, he's a big part. Darius Slayton is good. I just don't really trust Daniel Jones. I just don't. Joe Judge has been doing some weird stuff, chasing off some players here. So I just don't have a lot of faith in the New York Giants for this season. So I'm going to take the under 7, and it pays at plus money. It's not a lot, plus 110, but I do like the Giants to go under that total a little bit.
Yeah, Giants feel like it's one of those teams. They're either going to just surprise the world or they're going to go full Giants, and yeah, it's going to be a disaster. And Judge might not make it to the end of the year, so he might be doing some sprints and see if someone quits again. We'll see. I'm going to go with one that should be near and dear to your heart. I'm going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think it works well because you took that Baltimore under. I'm taking that Pittsburgh over 8.5, and it is plus 115. And maybe call me a sucker because this is one of the ones when I saw plus money on the Steelers over 8.5. Folks, that's a 9-8 season. That's just barely over 500. The Steelers do that when they're asleep. They're a 500 football team all the time. Like, Tomlin will not let them fail as long as Roethlisberger's standing up. That's a big if.
I don't think Tomlin's ever been under 500. So
yeah,
for them to go under, it would be under 500. And look, there's a lot of doubters on Pittsburgh, and for good reason. The Steelers finished off the season terribly. It was all downhill. There's big questions about that O-line, but the O-line was bad last year and they won 11 games. So I'm with you on that. A little harder for me to say that. I had that in my bets. I have since switched to a different bet just because I don't want to sound like too big a homer. I'm starting out with a Baltimore under and a Pittsburgh over. But, I'm absolutely with you.
Well, you get a healthy Ben. You still got all the weapons in the passing game. They're going to be fine. But
right. I'll go to one over here. How about the Washington football team on the over 8.5? I mean, I think this team is star-studded on defense. I like at all 3 levels, you got a stud. I like Jamin Davis, their new rookie linebacker. You have the second-year man Chase Young in there, who is just a beast. Landon Collins and Cameron Curl as 2 great safeties as well. Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson are big-time playmakers on offense. And this division isn't tough. Dallas could be tough, but the Eagles aren't what they were a couple years ago. And I just told you I like the under on the Giants. So I like Washington to go over this 8.5, and it pays at minus 120. So, it's a minus, which you don't typically want to bet, but I think that total is way too low for Washington.
100% agree with that defense. They're going to be in a lot of football games. As long as a couple bounces go their way, they can be above 500. No problem at all. And here's my homer pick. Miami over 9.5 at plus 125. This team was a playoff team last year, a contender for the playoffs. They were almost an AFC East winning team. Obviously, the Bills, I believe, are a better football team than the Dolphins. But the Dolphins, I think, are very, very good and are kind of getting overlooked. I think Tua is going to take a very good step in the right direction. They gave him some more weapons. That defense is still going to be very, very good. 10-7 should not be that difficult for the Dolphins to do, if not better. So it's going to be Miami over 9.5. Big things coming to South Beach. They'll be a wild card team this year in the playoffs.
Yeah, my next one is going to be an under, another under, being negative again, but it's Denver and it's 8.5. And this is because I just don't trust. I don't trust Drew Lock. I don't trust Teddy Bridgewater. It doesn't really matter to me. Now, look, they could start the season banging here because they open up with the Giants first, then the Jaguars, and then the Jets. So they may be gaining some momentum going into week 4 then, but then they hit a wall of Denver, Pittsburgh, Vegas, Cleveland, Washington, Dallas. Philly might be a win for them. That would get them to 4. They're losing to the Chargers. They're losing to the Chiefs. Maybe they beat the Lions. That's 5. Bengals, I don't think they'll hang with them that late in the season. Raiders, I don't think they're winning. Chargers and Chiefs, they're not winning. So I got them at like 6 possible. I guess if you want to throw the Raiders both games in there, that would get them to 8, but the number is 8.5. So I love the under on Denver. It's probably one of my favorite bets here, and it pays off at plus 120.
Yeah, I think not getting Aaron Rodgers is going to really start to sting as that season goes on for the Denver Broncos because Drew Lock might be a good backup quarterback. I don't think he's a good real life.
Well, they're going with Bridgewater, and how many teams has Bridgewater been on?
Yeah, so it's even worse. Like they don't have a quarterback.
Carolina,
I think it's just a question. They don't have a quarterback.
You have 2, you really have none. That's always the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to one we obviously really, really like, and that is the Buffalo Bills over 11, minus 130. I hated taking minus 130. Hated it a lot. But this one, again, maybe it's too good to be true. Buffalo, to me, is the class of the AFC East and maybe the AFC. If we really want to have some fun, at least they should be like the 1B in this conference. So I think Buffalo just soars over this one. Josh Allen is a beast. We've seen that time and time again. That defense is legit. Stephon Diggs finally, like, people gave him the recognition he should have got last year. I don't see them taking a step back. I see them taking a step forward in 2021. So give me some Stephon Diggs, especially now you get Bills Mafia in the stadium. So that's going to be even bigger for these guys. Give me Buffalo over 11. I think this one's too good to be true, and I hope it's not. Let's put it that way.
And I can't believe I'm saying this into a microphone so people can hear me. But my last one, and this is so you guys hopefully know that I'm not too big of a homer, especially when it comes to betting. But Cleveland over 10.5. And look, they dominated my Steelers in the playoffs. Everybody saw it. But I'm trying to find the games they'll lose. You know, okay, maybe week 1 to the Chiefs on the road. Let's chalk that up to a loss. Yeah. They have to play the Chargers on the road. That's a tough one. Let's say they drop 1 apiece to the Ravens and Steelers on the road. That gets them to 4. Green Bay is a loss on the road in December. That's on Christmas Day, probably. That would be 5. That's 12-5. That's a game and a half over this 10.5. So I think this one, barring injuries, which happen to every team, but I think Cleveland is in a pretty good spot to go over this 10.5.
Yep, don't blame me there at all. My under pick here, and it sucks only having one under, but Atlanta under 7.5 at minus 110. Basically, it's an even bet, minus 110 on both sides. But give me the under. This team, Matt Ryan's still there. That's great. Ridley's still there. You got Pitts. Everyone's excited about. They have no defense. And their offense is going to throw it a lot and be very successful. Shootout city in the NFC South. They'll lose both games to the Bucs. They should lose at least 1, if not 2, to the Saints, and that's saying a lot. And then you got the Panthers, who will be better than people think. So they'll be lucky to get 2 wins in their own division, let alone more than that. So give me the Falcons under 7.5. This is going to be a long, long season for Atlanta, and hopefully Matt Ryan finds a new home somewhere to win a few more games before he calls it quits. But all right, let's head out to some divisional picks. How's that sound for you? Some division winners, Bogman. NFC North, you got Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. Who you got?
I mean, Green Bay minus 160.
Yep.
It's not the sexiest bet, but it is kind of the easiest bet.
Yeah, this is going to be a boring set of picks for you guys because the odds makers know what they're doing. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, I'm with Green Bay. As long as Aaron Rodgers is standing up, they're going to win this division. I think win it rather easily because I've said it many times in other shows, a pissed off Aaron Rodgers is something I don't want to be in the way of.
Yeah.
AFC North, who you got here, you should have a big take on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cleveland. I just picked them to go over 10.5. So I think it has to be. And they're paying plus money, plus 155, because the Ravens are actually the favorite at plus 110. But the Steelers at plus 500 isn't the worst bet either. The Bengals at plus 2,500 is the worst bet.
That is the worst bet, yes. But I'm with you. I think it's the Browns as well, but I think the Steelers ones, because I had them over 8.5. I don't dislike your over 10.5 for the Browns, but I think the Steelers is at least a good value bet at plus 500, because if Ben brings them back and Browns take a scuffle or two, it could be neck and neck and be a lot closer than people think. I'm going with you on the Browns, but the Steelers could be one of those value ones. It's one of the divisions that it's kind of a little more wide open than a few of the others. AFC East, we got Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. Bills lead the way at minus 160. Who you got?
I mean, I got Buffalo minus 160. I just want to know, how much of a homer are you going to be here? Because the Dolphins are plus 350.
I got Buffalo minus 160. I like the Dolphins. I say they're a wild card team.
Okay.
I don't see them creeping past Buffalo just yet. I would love nothing more than that. Trust me. But I'm going to still take Buffalo minus 160. AFC South. Titans, Colts, Jags, Texans. This is a bad division.
It is. I mean, it's got to be the Titans here. Look, the Colts have a shot, but and look, Jacksonville could surprise some teams with Trevor Lawrence at the helm, but I'm not going to say rookie year he's going to do that. So for me, it's definitely going to be the Titans minus the 115.
Yeah, Titans with all that experience they gained last year, I think was huge. Defense is legit. I love Tannehill. You can still, they say a playoff team travels with a defense and a running game. Titans got both. So they were real close to making it to the Super Bowl. Let's not forget that one. Not a ton of changes there. Plus, they added Julio. AFC West, you got Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. Chiefs minus 250, the heaviest favorites to win their own division.
Yeah, and it's just, how do you not take them? I mean, I know you're all chubbed up for the Chargers over there.
Yeah.
You going to lay some money down there, or?
I think the plus 450 is nice. I think that Steelers plus 500 I like a little better, but I think if you're going to take some chances, that Chargers plus 450, I like what we saw from Herbert, and I think Herbert can take the next step as well. Eckler healthy, hopefully for the season, will be tremendous because he missed some time. I'm a huge Keenan Allen stan, and hopefully that defense, the big loss early in the offseason to the defense, but still should be a decent defense, and that division outside of the Chiefs does not scare me. So it just takes a hiccup or two. The Chargers went into Kansas City last year and made a game of it. So I think they have a decent plus 450 chance. It's the Chiefs division, but if you want to take some chances, don't mind it. NFC West, you got the Niners, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Niners, the Rams, and the Seahawks, anywhere from plus 180 to 275. What do you got here?
I mean, honestly, this is the best division in football. You can pick any of these teams, I think. But for me, and luckily the Welsh isn't listening because he's a giant Niners fan. I like the Rams here. I think this defense is still strong. They do have a little bit of issue at middle linebacker, but Ernest Jones, I think, is going to take over halfway through the year and be a great addition to this defense. Matthew Stafford takes over, and I think when you talk about the difference at quarterback that Matthew Stafford is versus Jared Goff, I think people are underrating it a little bit. Yep. So I think the Rams win this division, and they're paying off plus money. So it's one of my favorite bets right now at plus 190.
Yep, I'm with you 100%. I took the Rams team total over 10.5, so I'm 100% on board with the Rams winning the division. The Niners quarterback issues are going to make this tough for them to win the division. To me, there's going to be a back and forth mess there, and I just don't trust Garoppolo to be that guy. And the Seahawks, that O-line is going to kill Wilson one of these days.
Would you say Garoppolo is not? You're not that guy, bud? Would you say that
guy, bud? If they were starting Trey Lance out the gate, I'd give them a better shot. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Garoppolo is a good game manager. If that's how they want to roll, it's fine, but that's not Shanahan's offense. So that doesn't work for me. NFC East, Cowboys, Washington, Giants, Eagles, Cowboys plus 150, Washington plus 200. Bang that drum.
Yeah, Washington plus 200 is just, I like that bet. Now, not that the Cowboys aren't good. I do think it'll be a nice fight between the Cowboys and Washington the whole year. But I like Washington's defense a little bit more. I think in the end that might get Dallas. Dak is coming off of surgery and he's not 100% already. So I think Washington they're at least safer than Dallas and the Giants and the Eagles. I'll say that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. Dallas, and they're going to be popular. That's why they're the plus 150 here. But give me Washington. That defense is so darn good, as you mentioned earlier in your over-under section. And you throw Fitzpatrick in there. I am a huge Fitzpatrick fan. I know I'm not the only one, but I don't like how he gets treated because I think he's actually a legit quarterback. I know he throws picks, but he's actually a darn good quarterback. And there's weapons on that offense for him to throw to. So that offense will be a lot better than people think, which is going to make that defense's teeth even sharper. So I think Washington's a very, very sneaky team at plus 200. And the NFC South, you got the Buccaneers running away with this one at minus 200. Do you like the Saints, Falcons, or Panthers at all?
I do not. No, that's the Bucs easy at minus 200. I mean, look, Brady went to the Super Bowl and won it on a wrecked MCL last year. So going to be weird to see what he does with an actual preseason and offseason and camp and all of that stuff and a good knee this year, or a better knee, I guess I should say. I don't know at his age if they're good at all, but it's better than it was last year, and they were amazing.
Yep, I got nothing to add. It's the Bucs. It's the Bucs. Plain and simple for me. Let's go to the conference winners here. AFC conference, it goes Chiefs at 250, Bills at 500, Ravens 600, Browns 800, and so on and so forth. Who do you have winning this conference?
I mean, I think your easy answer is to say the Chiefs and Bucks, right? And they're both paying off at plus money. So I think they're both good bets. If I want to go out on a limb a little bit, I kind of like Buffalo plus 500. I kind of like the Rams here in the NFC as well, like we mentioned before, at plus 650. I think that's a good bet. I like your Packers, your semi-Packers at plus 600. Like you said, Aaron Rodgers is a solid one as well. But, conference winner is a tough one to pick. So I don't know if I want to go much further down the rabbit hole than those ones.
Yeah, we were trying to discuss like some potential long shots. It's not easy. A couple others, like the Bills at 500, like you mentioned, is awesome. But like a longer shot plus 1,500 for the Titans. Like they were close to winning it last year. The defense is good. They improved the offense, I think, and it's a new offensive coordinator. It's my only concern with them is how will they jump out the gate with that new coordinator. But I think the Titans at plus 1,500 is very, very intriguing. Has a little weight to it. And then on the flip side, when you go to the NFC, you mentioned the Packers at 600. That'd be kind of my Packers and Rams at 600 and 650. Kind of like longer shots if you want to go away from the normal Bucks and Chiefs in those scenarios. Super Bowl champion. Chiefs are 500, Bucks are 600, and then everybody's 4 digits and below. Who do you have winning this darn thing?
I mean, I think the Bucks at plus 600 is probably the best bet. I kind of like the Rams. I've said it before. Plus 1,400 is a good bet. Cleveland at plus 1,600 might not be a bad one either. Who else do you like?
I like the Packers at 1,300, of course. I like that one. I agree with some of your other takes as well. Buffalo at 1,000, but sticking to my Titans, they're plus 3,000 to win the Super Bowl. That's one of those. If you can sneak them into the conference title game, even you can start hedging things out. Let alone the Super Bowl gives you a lot of hedge material. So Titans at plus 3,000 would be one. If you're going long shot wise, would have my attention. But on paper, obviously, right now, Bucks look pretty darn good at plus 600.
Yeah, I'll just say that the Steelers are plus 4,500. So
I'm not counting them out, man. Like I'm telling you, some of these things look a little odd to me. Let's just put it that way. Let's talk about some award winners before we head on out of here. Bogman, who do you have for MVP as it goes? Mahomes at 500, Rodgers at plus 1,000, and so on and so forth.
I mean, look, I think there are many bets here to be placed that are solid. I like Patrick Mahomes at plus 500. I like Aaron Rodgers at plus 1,000. But I'll tell you, my favorites are probably Brady at plus 1,400. I think that's just a great one. And I mentioned I like the Rams and I like Matt Stafford. So plus 1,800 on Matt Stafford isn't a bad bet either.
I know you usually have to win the MVP, but let's be real about it. McCaffrey at plus 4,000. Does that intrigue anybody?
Yeah, I mean,
just for the odds.
Yeah, it has to, right?
Or Dalvin Cook at 6,500.
Dalvin Cook is you know what? I think I like the Dalvin Cook one better than the Christian McCaffrey one because Minnesota can win games.
Kamara's get so many passes. Dalvin, like Minnesota could be surprising and win. I'm with you. So Cook at 65 is interesting.
Yeah, I think those are some good ones.
Yeah, but other than that, it stays the big dogs up top, as you mentioned, that should carry a lot of weight. Offensive Rookie of the Year now, you got Lawrence at 400, Mack at 600, Wilson, Fields, Lance, and Najee going out the rest of the top 6. Who do you like at the Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Well, look, I've said it many times, and I think people have Trevor Lawrence fatigue because he was amazing in college, and then he was the number 1 overall pick, and we knew he was the number 1 overall pick 3 years ago here. And so I think he's not getting talked up as well as he should, especially for how good he looked in the last preseason game that he played in. So I think he is my favorite, and he's also the best odds, but it still pays you plus. It pays you 4-1, plus 400. I think Zach Wilson is probably my second on this list at plus 750, just for how great he has looked in the preseason. Everyone says he's light years ahead of a normal rookie quarterback. I really like him. Tony Romo said that he thinks that he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL sooner rather than later. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but I think for rookie of the year, it's definitely within his possibility. But I tell you what I wouldn't do is I probably wouldn't bet on any position other than quarterback here, because there are too many good quarterbacks for one of them not to win it this year.
That's what I was going to say. Kyle Pitts at plus 1,000 does not do anything for you just because of the hype train he's getting. But that's an interesting odds, to say the least. I think Justin Fields, if they need to start him early. If he gets in there early, I love Justin Fields. Big Justin Fields fan at plus 750. So it'll be interesting, to say the least. Defensive rookie of the year. This is right in your wheelhouse, Bogman. Who do you got here?
It is. I mean, tough not to pick Parsons at plus 600, because I do think he's going to, my boy Gary Davenport doesn't think he's going to lead in snaps. We do an IDP podcast over at ITL, but I do. I think Micah Parsons is just the guy, and he's going to lead the Cowboys in snaps. They've already pushed Jalen Smith off of a starting role in this team, Keanu O'Neal and him. But I like Jamin Davis. I mentioned him when we were talking about Washington at plus 800. Other bets, there's some long ones. I like JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, from the Cleveland Browns at plus 1,400. I think JC Horn at plus 1,400 is pretty good if he comes down with some picks. Other than that, Zaven Collins might be in there. I don't know that I definitely don't like the Phillips or Kwity Paye. I mean, those guys have to put up big sack numbers, and it's kind of tough for rookies to do that. So I'm looking at tackle totals. I'd say Nick Bolton at plus 2,000 has a good outside shot as well, but that's who I would stick with here.
Yeah, I'm going to leave those to Bogman because he's much better at that stuff than me. I'm not going to pretend to know what I'm talking about there. Offensive player of the year. Now, this gets fun because we did MVP. I always laugh at there's an MVP and an offensive player of the year, and they somehow differ more often than not. But you got Patrick Mahomes at plus 700. You got Derrick Henry. Christian McCaffrey's up here now. So it's a little different odds-wise. Even Dalvin Cook's 1,400. Who do you have as offensive player of the year?
Yeah, I mean, this is the one where Christian McCaffrey is much more likely to win it, because they'll give the MVP to a quarterback almost every time.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry at plus 700 is a great one. I think Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey are in here. Devontae Adams is definitely has a good shot here. Tyreek Hill at plus 2,200 is a solid one. Zeke at plus 2,500 is a solid one. I mean, these are all dart throws. You don't want to put a bunch of money on any of these award ones, but you throw somewhere between, whatever a unit to 2 units, whatever that is to you, instead of your big money. I like throwing darts on some of these.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's much more open. You don't have to be on a winning team to win this award, which is kind of fun. So, like the Dalvin Cook that I liked on the other one, plus 14 here, does feel a little bit better. I like the Devontae Adams taking the Stephon Diggs at plus 2,000, be another fun one as well. Defensive player of the year, who you got, Bogman?
It's hard not to pick Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
I mean, and he's paying 5-1. He has, the best odds to win it, but that still is paying you 5-1. So that is a good investment. I don't think TJ Watt's a good investment this year. I mean, dude is held out for a contract. He may not even play week 1 if the contract doesn't get done. So I'm going to skip him, but I think Myles Garrett plus 500, Chase Young at plus 850 is a solid one as well. Devin White is probably my favorite long shot at plus 1,800. Darius Leonard at plus 2,000 is another good one. And down the line, other than that, I don't know, maybe Budda Baker at plus 3,000, but it's really hard for defensive back to win that award.
Very, very tricky there. Do you want to even do comeback player of the year and stuff? That's just
how shot. Can they're actually, last year was Alex
Smith plus 800. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's because, I mean, it's a normal injury, and you have Joe Burrow and Dak and Saquon in there as well. Nick Foles is in there. Yeah, it's loaded. It's a tough one to pick this year. So, I mean, last year it was, you knew if Alex Smith stepped 1 foot onto a field, he was winning it, and he did. So I think this one's more up in the air, which makes it dangerous. I mean, I don't know how you don't go with Christian McCaffrey when he's paying off 8-1 to win an award.
It's almost his offensive player of the year odds.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I like CMC at plus 800.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'll take some CNC. If you want to go Saquon at 700, I hope he's Saquon again like Boggs does, then you're good. So I don't hate that. Coach of the year, who you got?
I mean, I don't know how Urban Meyer is even up here already. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know how you pick against Bruce Arians, you know. Yep. So and he's plus 3,000. So
he's way down the line. It's pretty impressive.
I don't get it. Yeah, so that one's a pretty easy one for me.
Yeah, I'll tell you on that one because this basically is who is the best team in football. That's what it's going to come down to. And
who has Tom Brady?
We pretty much agree the Bucs are the best team in football. So, Boggs, that's our season preview, props, win totals, you name it, we got it. Remind everybody, this podcast this season, the Pre-Snap Podcast, we brought to you by the wonderful people at Thrive Fantasy. It is prop bets, 20 prop bets a week. You got to pick 10 of them, the over or the under. It's a point-based system, so you got to get them right for one. You got to get the most points to win also. It's a great way to do it. And this season, for week one, they have one of their best events, their single entry events, $140,000 guaranteed prize pool. They also have over $4 million scattered around the week one odds. Got to check all that stuff out. And more importantly, when you create your account at Thrive Fantasy, you need to use the promo code LineStar, LINESTAR. It gets you a first-time deposit match up to $100 and gets you 2 free months of the premium package at LineStar.com. Recommend you guys check it out. So go to Thrive Fantasy, use promo code LineStar. Any final thoughts, Bogman, before we head on out of here?
No, just, get ready for our DFS and betting shows. We'll also, after week one, starting week two, we'll have a wrap-up show to talk about what happened in week one. Then we'll have a DFS and picks against the spread on the over-unders. So just get ready for all that. We're going to have a lot of fun this football season. It comes fast, it goes fast, and we are here for it and excited to go.
It's going to be great. You're going to get tons of Bogman and myself, more than you already had on the On Deck podcast. So make sure you follow Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm at BD Intric, LineStar at LineStar, and at LineStar NFL. We'll be back with you guys later this week to get you ready for week one action.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by Thrive Fantasy. Please like, comment, subscribe, and rate for good karma in your fantasy football games.